Every great civilization has a record of a period of a golden age when there was no war, no dispute, no lying. And this was attributed to the fact that language had not been discovered and the telepathic function was the principal means of communication. Now, in relation to the order, those of the few isolated settlements which survived on the European coastline discovered that some retained the telepathic power, but most of them, because of the terrible traumas and trials they had undergone, had lost it. These isolated groups then began to migrate east, and in so doing, they had to, in their isolation, develop languages as a means of communication. It does explain why disparate groups scattered all over the earth today have languages with no connection, languages which arose spontaneously. But over and above this, psychics in every community retained a telepathic capacity. The order at every stage had to remain outside society, within it, but at the same time not of it. A secret order. Secrecy is not something which we think a good thing, but it is essential for survival. And as society developed, it became more and more essential for survival. The old saying is, where do you hide a pebble but on the beach? You can't keep your order secret by going off into a remote place, into a monastery, and cutting yourself off from civilization. It's essential that you interpenetrate the society, not for any purpose of power, which is the usual aim of most secret societies, but for your own protection. And the secondary function, as far as I can see, from my knowledge of the history of the order, they tried at every stage of history to influence for the good the way history was developing.
Beyond any terror ever known. Yesterday they were scientists. Through a madman's hellfire. Dehumanized, blood-chilling hate robots, killer creatures, determined to destroy Earth.
Yeah. This one will kill you.
Cats and hot rodders, they're all alive to the jive.
Yeah. This one will kill you.
Cats and hot rodders, they're all alive to the jive. Brought with them such horrors as the world has never seen. This is criminal. Monstrous. Power to resist. 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 Power to resist.
The most terrifying torture dungeon from the medieval past.
Predictions completed and quite satisfactory. We can now proceed with the next part of our plan.
I warned you not to come here. Now you'll have to take the consequences. Now you'll have to take the consequences.
Predictions complete. completed and quite satisfactory. We can now proceed with the next part of our plan.
Warned you not to come here. Now you'll have to take the consequences. 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 Now you'll have to take the consequences. Consequences. Consequences.
Yesterday they were scientists.
Through a madman's hellfire.
They're dehumanized, blood-chilling hate robots. Killer creatures, determined to destroy Earth.
Yeah. This one will kill you.
There's cats and hot rodders. They're all alive to the jive.
Yeah. This one will kill you.
There's cats and hot rodders. They're all alive to the jive. Brought with them such horrors as the world has never seen.
Terrifying torture dungeons on the medieval past.
Missions completed and quite satisfactory. We can now proceed with the next part of our plan.
I warned you not to come here. Now you'll have to take the consequences. 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 Now you'll have to take the consequences. 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 I warned you not to come here. Now you'll have to take the consequences. 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 Now you'll have to take the consequences. Consequences. Consequences.
They will kill you. If they don't, I will.
I have 6 people that I counted friends who use marijuana, and they never did graduate to heroin. You know why? Because on marijuana, they committed crimes of passion and were electrocuted before they got a chance to get hooked on horse. I said, God help me, you get away from me, you get away from me, you hear me? Because I don't care anymore, and nobody loves me, and nobody cares about me.
I was a prostitute for about 3 years, and I could not do it unless I was loaded. You understand? Like the periods, like if I cleaned up and I was on the Nash, say, and if I needed money, nobody could give me enough money to do something like that. But when I was on heroin, like I told you before, it kind of insulates you so that you don't feel, your true feelings. Things are kind of removed from you. So I'm just here to say, look at me. Yes. The question is, when I was 14, did anybody come around and talk to me like this? Somebody came around to our school and told us the most fantastic stories. They said, never accept an orange from somebody at a football game because it might have dope in it, and if you take one bite, you're hooked forever. I'm telling you, I was so much against heroin until I saw, my fella, that he didn't fall apart. I was surprised, that he didn't just crumble and drop at my feet. And then I said, they're lying. It's all lies, I wish really maybe it would have helped if somebody had just, told the truth. I'll tell you, there are some people that started smoking grass 20 years ago when I did, and today they're still smoking grass, or some of them don't even do that anymore. In other words, they did not progress, you understand? But then there's other people like me that maybe have some kind of personality problem, some hang-up, more or less like we're more disposed to using dope. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I say, if you can make like a really final commitment, no on dope, that's going to include marijuana, acid, weed, dope, everything. You kind of just save yourself a whole lot of bother, Maybe some people can smoke a few joints, take a few pills, and that's going to be all they ever do, But then there's people like me. I guess in a way it's kind of like alcohol. this is not a professional opinion. This is just something that occurs to me. That, like, you know, some people can be social drinkers, and other people, you know, gotta jump in the bottle. So it's hard to say. Did I use acid in between? No. I was in between using heroin. I was afraid of acid for a long time because, you know, I had heard that, you know, you really dig yourself on acid. You'll take a peek at yourself, and I didn't want to see. I have since tried acid, and it was very pleasant. But you know, if I were going to use anything, I'm afraid I'd still go for that. Lord have mercy. Yes.
That's San Diego. There is no some way down there. Some girl was telling me about she'd smoked weed before and she started hallucinating.
Yeah,
like really bad, like just starting there, like she's having rushes and everything. I was just wondering if you could think what was
the only thing I can do is relate it to like what I know what people do when they make speed or acid. They'll mix strange mixtures into it just so people will get a rush. You know, if they go to the
like these girls.
Yeah, or have you ever heard of putting strychnine in speed because it gives you a rush? Strychnine's a poison. It's enough to scare me. What else? How about uppers?
TV's Mary Tyler Moore celebrated the truth that staying single was a legitimate way for a woman to live.
Well, let's see, how do you open up with a subject like this? You want to get married?
Boy, that really opens it right up, doesn't it?
Well?
Dan, I know what I'm going to say may sound a little, you know, negative, but, no.
Sometimes people didn't agree on what the truth was. Phyllis Schlafly mobilized opposition to equality for women, even though polls showed the majority of Americans continued to support it.
Still, the real woman had found her truth.
She wasn't a flattery, or a paper doll, or a flower child, or anybody's baby.
They will teach thee something thou knowest not. The honey caresses of a woman. Man is violent and lazy. Doubtless thou knowest this. Avoid him. He has a flat chest, rough skin, short hair, shaggy arms. But women are altogether beautiful. Women alone know how to love. Stay with us, Bellitas. Stay. And if thou hast an ardent soul, thou wilt see thy beauty as in a mirror upon the bodies of women, thy lovers. I know now whether I should espouse Galatas or Kaisi. As they're not like each other, one would not console me for the other, and I fear lest I choose battle. They each hold one of my hands and one of my breasts. But to which shall I give my mouth? To which shall I give my heart? And all that one cannot divide. It is shameful to remain thus all three in one house. It is Galatas whom I prefer, but I cannot reject Kaisi. What would become of her all alone? Shall I leave them as they were and take for myself another friend? That evening a storm broke and continued all night. Nesadika, with beautiful hair, had come to spin with me. She remained for fear of the blood. Fill my little bed. When girls lie together, sleep remains at the door. Ladies, tell me, whom lovest thou? She slipped her leg over mine to caress me softly, and she said against my mouth, I know, Bilitis, whom thou lovest. Close thine eyes.
Demonstrating the way we select numerical variables that define a particular graphic pattern. The program is based upon a single polar coordinate equation having about 20 parameters. Using the light pen, numerical values can be chosen and given to any of the parameters of the program. One soon learns how to control the graphic possibilities of this new medium and realizes that it is a very powerful and versatile figure generator. Here is a simple and obvious and quite infallible kind of holographic function. Parallel action rotated into 4 quadrant positions. This becomes too much a kind of intellectual game. All this that you see here should impinge upon the emotions and feelings directly. It does not do that very well, but I think it can and will. Now, here the pairs show their mating relationship as they move in a depth of space. Music, of course, has its impact directly, and emotions are involved in composing music. The tiresome misconception that composers work in a heat of passion has given way to its opposite, that the short-haired modern composer is supposed to be all brain. I don't have to labor the point that music and music composing actually allow for a free and easy involvement of the emotions. But I must say, to get emotionally involved creatively at the computer is not easy. One considerable problem has to do with the matter of real time. As difficult to combat as the old misconceptions about the romantic composers may be the ideas floating around that we may turn to art by computer as a labor-saving device. There is so much misunderstanding about the so-called electronic brain, which is supposed to do the work of 100 or 1,000 scientists. You can already expect to hear talk of a computer doing the work of many artists. There would be less nonsense in this if it were put the other way around. I would gladly share the task that lies ahead with many others who, I am sure, are abundantly cognizant of the problems. In fact, to me, it seems likely that problems such as I have tried to outline here will one day be collectively studied at many centers devoted to the computer arts. In summary, I must comment that if this kind of computer art study looks like a lot of fun, which it is, let me add there is some agony in it too.
People trying to get away with. I know everybody's like, wow, and down there, I don't know how everybody can even dig it down. Yeah, it's ugly. They're like ugly things. People get mean, stupid, sloppy. Why are people so dumb? I should be shining. It's taken me years and I still don't know. Why?
We could no more tell our parents that I've been looking at or whatever. And I need help. I'm not going to work so much money. I'd be out there on the floor if I did something like that.
Have you ever really tried? I mean, but you know what? If you really like want to save yourself, you really feel uptight. Like there are places, call where we are. Call and talk to us. As a matter of fact, we're trying right now to try and get like a counselor thing going. Like if somebody really does feel uptight, you call us, laugh on the phone and come down, and we are, you know, one of the $1,000 girls. Just talk, because I know it's important. You gotta have somebody. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's been a pleasure. Just like I say, you're all beautiful. Stay that way. Thank you very much.
We got to realize that drugs are good. Drugs are not bad. It's what they're used for. Now, it's the symptoms of the drugs, which could be the abuse of the drugs. This is a symptom. The drugs themselves are good.
Changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts, increased appetite, trouble sleeping, dry mouth, diarrhea, and nausea. Some risk of dependency. Driving, eating, or engaging in other activities while not fully awake without remembering the event the next day have been reported. Abdominal pain and yellowing of the skin or eyes.
If your depression worsens or if you have unusual changes in behavior or thoughts of suicide, tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have symptoms such as persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
Seizures, blurred vision, and tics.
Lower your ability to fight infections. And discuss whether you've been to a region where certain fungal infections are common.
Or if you have high fever, confusion, and stiff muscles to address a possible life-threatening condition. Those who have had a drug or alcohol trouble may be more likely to receive
allergic reactions such as rash, eyes, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing.
aggressiveness, agitation, hallucinations, or confusion. Depression worsens if you have unusual changes in behavior or thoughts of suicide.
Increases in white blood cells, which can be serious. Dizziness upon standing. Seizures, trouble swallowing, and impaired judgment or motor skills.
Or swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, changes in eyesight, including blurry vision, muscle pain, fever, or tiredness. Testing, shortness of breath, faint. New or worsening mental illness has also occurred while taking a stimulant.
Or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent. High blood sugar.
Taking excessive pain, aspirin, or blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Severely liver problems is fatal or reported.
High fever, stiff muscles, and confusion to address a possible life-threatening condition.